Hello, I'm Dr. Moses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be talking about the F2 Standalone Program. A quick overview of what the F2 Standalone Program is. It's the second year of internship for doctors in the United Kingdom. And I'm going to run through people who are eligible, how to apply, when this opens, what do you need to apply basically, and then just do a quick run through. And then there'll be other series of this kind of videos. Okay. So the eligibility criteria for F2 Standalone Program, you'd have to have your full GMC registration at the start date of the program. So at application, you do not necessarily need to have it, but at the start date is usually the August of every year. So that's one. Two, and to have your GMC registration, if you're an IMG, International Medical Graduate, you need to have passed your PLAB 1 and PLAB 2, but all of these should be at the start date. So say if as of January when it opens, I do not yet have my full registration, I can still go ahead and apply as long as I'm aiming to get this in August of the year. And then secondly, you need to have your English exam sorted. For IELTS, it will be 7.5 for every category. So please note that this is a bit higher than what you require for your GMC registration. So you would need to have 7.5 on every module of the IELTS. And if you're using OET, it has to be above 400. I would clarify that, but it has to be above 400. I also dropped the links to the eligibility criteria for you. And then this IELTS has to also be valid at the start date of the program. And then you need to also look through the website if your school is exempted from taking English exam. Some schools are exempted from taking English exam, so that also makes you eligible for your program. So basically, have your GMC registration, full registration, or have it in view, and then your English exam, and then obviously you are a medical doctor already. So those two things are what you require to do your F2 Standalone Program. Still on eligibility, so for the F2 Standalone, you would need to have done your internship at least 1 year in your home country. So that's how you would qualify for a full GMC registration in the first place. So at least 1 year of practice in your home country, and then your English exam, and then full GMC registration in view, or if you already have it. So the F2 Standalone Program is basically the second year of your internship in the United Kingdom. It's a 1 year program. It's quite competitive, but it's a very good start to entering into the NHS, and you'll be treated as a foundation year doctor. Thank you. Yeah, the registration is usually sometime in January, so it's good to monitor the ORAL website. I'll drop the link of this in the caption below. So that's when the registration comes up, sometime in January, maybe like 2-week period. And then after that, they go on to shortlisting. So if you meet the eligibility criteria, like I've explained, you will be shortlisted. And after the shortlisting period, you would have to write an exam. So about January of every year, most times, that's when it opens. Yeah, the exam is basically about situational judgment test. So it's not a clinical exam per se, but it's about what you would do as a doctor in certain situations. So it would include ethical scenarios of professionalism, scenarios with you and your colleagues, and sometimes patient confidentiality. But it's just a mix of ethics, confidentiality, professionalism. And the exam is sometime around, say, March, April. But they would usually announce when the exams would be, and then you would book these exams. Exams you can do at Pearson View sites, and sometimes you can do them from the comfort of your home. Yeah, so after the exam, so they set a cutoff. So sometimes they use 60, 70, depends on how competitive that cohort is. So once they do that, if you deemed eligible, then you move on to the interview phase. So we've talked about shortlisting, and we talked about the exam part, which is the SJT exam, and then we'll move on to the interview. So if you get eligible for the interview, you book your interview slots, and then you're assessed by 2 different interviewers. They basically asking you questions, but to prevent bias to people accessing you, it would constitute of us answering questions like, can you walk us through your CV? That's the part where you get to introduce yourself and what you've done right from medical school and all of the kind of good stuff. And then you would be presented with 2 questions. One could be a clinical scenario, and one would be an ethical scenario. Sometimes 2 clinical scenarios, 1 ethical scenarios. And then they would ask you if you have any questions for them. So it's an interview that lasts for, say, 15 minutes to 20 minutes, and is marked objectively and then by 2 different assessors, and then your results will be out a certain day. You'll be ranked, and then passing the exam and passing the interview is one thing. Ranking high is another thing. So my advice to anyone taking the F2 Standalone program will be to give it your best shot at every stage. At the exam stage, give it your best shot. At the interview stage, still give it your best shot, because the interview phase is independent from the exam phase. So you will need to max out on the interview to secure a spot. So it's ranked. So it depends on the number of spots per year. So this year there were about 243 slots. And if you rank, say, 500, even though you pass the interview, you may not get a spot. But if you rank anywhere within 240, you will get a spot in the first batch. A few persons is spilled over to maybe like 280, 290 something, because there were clearing rounds. There are people who rejected offers, but it will be safest to be within the number of spots available, so you are sure of a rank within that cohort. Okay. So after the interview, if you're deemed eligible, that's if you passed, you would be asked to rank. So ranking is basically about the places you want to be in the UK and about the postings you want to do, because it's a training program, it's a rotational program. So you would need to pick 3 different departments you want to work in. It may be psychiatry, GP, and emergency medicine. If that's what you want, you would pick the hospitals that offer that to you. And if you also want to rank based on preference, say you prefer England to Scotland, you want to stay in Northern England, then you rank the hospitals you prefer as your number 1. So the rule is to rank the place you want to go as your number 1, and the next place you want to go as your number 2, just following that way. And then once the ranking is done, offers come in. You get an offer, you accept an offer, and then you get going. Okay. Watch out for more extensive videos on the F2 Standalone program, on how to apply, how to prepare for the SJT exam, how to prepare for your interview, how to rank. All of this will come up on my YouTube channel subsequently. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button, and expect my next video. I'm Dr. Moses, and I'm done speaking. Thank you.